Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, the 28th day of July, 2025. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family is safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are trying their best to save lives, and those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also helping those that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators of these things because you support those industries. Double curses on those who actually profit from these evil things, and double curses on all the perverts that drive the demand that cause these things to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, veterans, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today, I'd like to discuss two things in one. Number one, Josh Hart. Josh Hart was one of Tom Thibodeau's favorites. And as such, in Tom Thibodeau's shorter rotations, Josh Hart played a lot of minutes and closed a lot of games for the Knicks. Now, he also won a lot of games for the Knicks, and he's also lost a couple of games for the Knicks with bonehead plays. But he won way more for us than he lost. He averaged about 38 minutes a game last season, 33 the year before that, 32 the year before that, and so he was increasingly getting more minutes, which is not good in terms of his long-term ability to keep playing professional basketball. I don't expect that to continue. In fact, I'm sure it's not going to continue. Under Mike Brown, first of all, let's go with a little logic here. Ian Begley reported that the Knicks signed Gershon Yabusele with the intent of having him back up Karl Anthony Towns at the 4, which means Karl Anthony Towns would be starting at the 4, which means Mitchell Robinson would be starting at the 5, which means Josh Hart is not starting. So therefore, we can expect Josh Hart to be coming off the bench and mob deep with the second unit. What will this do? Well, it depends. I don't know how Mike Brown uses his closing lineups. With Tibbs, generally Tibbs likes to close with his starters, or sometimes he closed with the team that came in hot in the fourth quarter and was, running a comeback and was getting momentum. But usually, say 8 times out of 10, Tibbs like to close with his starters. I don't know how Mike Brown handles this, so I don't know what his use of Josh Hart, because oftentimes it was the Villanova connection with Hart and Brunson that did a lot of clutch plays for the Knicks in big games. Hart would get a key rebound. Hart would dive on the floor. Him and Brunson would read where each other would be on the floor because they've been playing together so long and connect with each other that way. But I don't know how Mike Brown is going to close tight games, who he's going to have on the floor, how he's going to decide who's going to be on the floor. This, we're going to have to find out. I don't even want to guess about it, but we'll find out, because I don't know that much about Mike Brown in terms of watching him like I knew Tom Thibodeau. So we will find out. I can guarantee you some people are not going to be happy because this is New York, and that's always going to be the case. But with respect to Josh Hart, I expect him to be more effective this year. And the reason is because, for example, if he knows in his whole career, started with the Lakers in a rookie year, he played 23 minutes a game. He's the type of player, a glue guy that you want on the floor, a lot. So while I don't see him playing 38 minutes a game, obviously, I could see the 23, something closer to 23, 25. His career, he's averaging 30 minutes a game. So I can see something less than that. He's not going to play that much, but it's good because the minutes he will play, let's say it's 25 minutes a game, you're going to get an all-out Josh Hart onslaught against any opponent, and he'll have the energy to do it as he does it, full tilt on both ends of the floor. Okay, and so that's going to be good. You're going to have, I think, a more refreshed Josh Hart. And now, he's going to be 30. He's 30 this year. So I'm still thinking we're going to see vintage Hart. And I don't know how Brown's going to close. I don't know what his closing lineups are going to be. We'll find out. But I expect Josh Hart to be in the mix because of his veteran leadership, because he is Charlie Hustle. He is probably, if you're going to look at rebounders under 6'5", he's probably the best one in the NBA. And then he plays top-notch defense, all of that. So you're not going to have any type of fatigue issues with Hart. Not that you've had him before. Guy's always in tremendous shape. I always respect players that come to play in tremendous shape, and that's Josh Hart. He comes to play. He's in tremendous shape. He's ready to go full tilt every minute he's on the floor. So that is going to be really good, especially when you have other players like that, like Yabusele, for example, who's going to go full tilt also every minute he's on the floor, or Deuce. The Knicks have a stable of players that are like that, which is really good, of course. And then you add to that, you sprinkle in your superstars like your Jalen Brunsons and your Cats, and then you sprinkle in your other dudes, your lockdown wing stop, OG and Macau. We know we got something. So I'm expecting him to come off the bench to play less minutes than he had been playing under Tom Thibodeau, but that's not saying he ain't going to play. He's going to play a lot. He's going to be fresher, a more refreshed version of Josh Hart to give 100% energy on both ends of the floor. I don't think very few people in the NBA will dive on the floor as quickly for a ball as Josh Hart. So that's going to be good. Second part, though, I wanted to go over. When media talks about the Knicks checking in on a player, there's a lot of people in Knicks Nation that run off with that as if they're going to go get this guy. First off, due diligence means they check in with a lot of people. That's just part of due diligence. It doesn't mean they're seriously interested. What you have to remember, again, Knicks Nation, please remember this. You can look at the prices on a lot of products. That doesn't mean you're buying them. What you have to decide is the product at the price being asked worth your purchase? Because that's exactly how Leon Rose looks at stuff. He's checking in, and he's wondering, can I use this product? Whether it's Ben Simmons or Mark or Brogdon or whoever, can I use this product? And at what price is this product? And we're not just talking about vet minimum. We're talking about cost, yeah. But we're also talking about at what price in terms of minutes. Whose minutes is he going to steal that may hurt us? And availability. This is the big one. This is the one that kills me. Because I don't get, for example, I compared Malcolm Brogdon with Josh Hart. I wanted to compare them. Now, Malcolm Brogdon has played 9 years in the NBA. He has, out of a possible 720 games, he has played 463, which means out of a possible 720 games, he has missed 275 games, okay? He averages playing 50 games per season. That's the average for Malcolm Brogdon. And it's going down as we get closer as he gets a little older. Last year, he played 24 games. What does that mean? That means that in any average NBA season, you can expect Malcolm Brogdon to not play in 32 games. So I want you to think about that. Do you want a guy that's not going to be available for almost, 60%? No. 40% of your season? Do you want that? See, that's what I'm saying when people are yelling names out and y'all jumping on it. You got to understand what's the availability and how much is this guy going to cost? People don't look at that. Everybody thinks of the glory days of whatever player it is. So you're looking at Malcolm Brogdon, you're thinking the sixth man of the year with the Celtics. It ain't that guy. It ain't. And even with Celtics, he played that year he won sixth man of the year with the Celtics. He played 67 games, and that was the most he had played since his rookie year. So he has a career year in terms of games played, which turns into sixth man of the year. So he's only had, out of the 9 seasons, he's only had 3 seasons where he's played more than 60 games. Out of 9. So you want to take a chance on the Knicks getting him, and more than likely him missing 30 games? See, that's what I wish people would think about, instead of jumping on Twitter and just running with some of these stupid suggestions. Whereas Josh Hart, in his 8 years in the league, okay, he has played 530 games, a year less experience than Brogdon, but has played 70 more games. Josh Hart averages 66 games per season, which means you can expect him to miss 16 games in a season. Okay, so what are you telling me? You want a guy that might miss or average missing 30 games versus a guy that's going to miss 16. You see where I'm going? And don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, I mean, seriously, come on. Ben Simmons, let's take a look at Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons has played in the league 7 years. And he has played in 383 games out of a possible 560, which means he has missed 280 games in his career. He averages playing about 50 games a year. You want this guy on your team? He averages 50 games a year. And he has been getting paid a lot of money. Early in his career in Philly, when he was 21, 81 games, 79 games he played. And he was Rookie of the Year. He was an All-Star. He was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. But since he left Philly, it's been downhill. Now, he's only 28. But I don't care what his age is. What, you're going to hope that he goes above his average of 50 games a year? And whose minutes is he going to steal? You want Deuce to play less minutes? You want Hart to play less minutes? What you want? Because that's what's going to have to happen. See, these are the questions you should ask when names are mentioned. How available is he? How much is he going to cost? Not just in terms of we're talking about vet men in this particular case, but not just in the case of that, but whose minutes is he going to steal from your 10-man rotation? Is he going to take minutes that could otherwise go to Diawara? Or if we bring Pate, is he going to take Pate's minutes? Do you want that? That's what I'm saying. These are the questions people should be asking, instead of just spouting off names the way the media throws spaghetti at a wall and hope something sticks. You got to ask forensic type questions. How much is he going to cost? Whose minutes are going to have to be cut? How many games is he going to be available for? Is he worth all of that? Simmons isn't. Brogdon isn't. I don't want nobody that's going to miss 30 games a year. You're going to see him just as much in street clothes as you're going to see him in the Knicks uniform. Now, they've had great times. Everybody's looking at Ben Simmons and thinking, Philly, he ain't that guy no more. He ain't. If he was, somebody would have signed him already. He's still out there. Okay? That's another thing people should understand. I had people howling at me for Moses Brown last year, as if the Knicks were making a mistake by not signing this bum. Look, if he was really NBA level ready, teams would already sign him. Teams already sign him. Okay? But if they didn't, you got 30 teams. You're not talking about a guy like Dink Pate that's coming out of the Mexican League that maybe nobody saw. No, you're talking about a guy that's been in the league, drafted 4 or 5 years ago, and ain't nobody want to sign him. There's a reason for that. It's like I would tell people, if you see a beautiful woman and she's in her 30s and she's single and been single a while, there's a reason for that. And it ain't just that guys are shy. If you see a player that's been in the league for a while and ain't nobody signing him, there's a reason for that. So I was telling people, Moses Brown is not an NBA player. He's not on an NBA contract. He said, well, he's killing the G League. Okay, he's a great G League player. You can have great Division I college players, great Division II, Division III, great Chinese league, great Spanish league. That's not the league. This is the league. And if anybody in the league signed him, guess what? There's a reason for that. And if somebody throwing a name out there that was good 10 years ago, and listen, that don't mean nothing about right now. What's it going to cost? How many games is he going to be able to play? And whose minutes are going to get cut for him to play? Think about this before you start spouting off and mentioning names that don't make no sense. Let's bring back either Landry Shamet or DeLon Wright. Or if they believe in the kid Kolek, if they believe in him. I don't know if they do or not. We'll find out. If they believe in the boy, maybe you bring him, you leave him there. You already got him. And now you give a contract to one of your other youngins, like Bochan. But that's another story. Right now, with these names being floated out here, it's rumored that the Knicks are interested in, it's speculated that the Knicks are interested in, or it's predicted. All of this is bullcrap. Don't buy into it, because it makes you look like that sounds stupid. Y'all enjoy your Monday. Sure.